Colin Villain Jr. Gillespie. He saved my life last night and probably the lives of everyone listening to this edition of the Sundress Dunks podcast. Let's get it. As you can see behind me, we were playing on our cup court, playing the Emiratis cup court, the second game, and playing against what I consider one of our biggest rivals in the Minnesota Timberwolves. They had beaten us the last 8 times. Of course, they swept us in the regular season last year after sweeping us in the playoffs the year before that. But not today. We have Colin Gillespie and Jordan Goodwin. What a game. Oh my God. I don't know if I've ever seen a game like that. I thought we lost like 6 or 7 different times. I mean, I don't even know what happened. At one point we're up by 18. It's now 8 games in a row that we've led by at least 18 points. But it's a game of runs, and the third quarter, the Wolves just took it to us. We seemed like we could not score at all. Devin Booker had one of the worst games of his life, shooting 4 for 18, scoring 9 points. And then at the end, Booker and Brooks both foul out. Of course, questionable officiating. The refereeing was bad all night long. It's been bad a lot of games, but you can't let that get to you. We had, I think, 28 turnovers. How often do you win a game and you have 28 turnovers? Not often. But you get down to the end, you're down by 8 points with 49 seconds left. They've been keeping a stat since 2022. There had been 3,060 teams to be down by 8 points with less than a minute left. Not a single team had won. We had a 1% chance to win the game, but we had Colin Gillespie, and we had the ending play right here.
Got it. Works it inside. Tough runner. Gets it up and in. Minnesota, no timeouts remaining. Into the hands of Randall. Randall, 2 seconds left with the shot. No good.
Oh my God. Colin Gillespie, they drew the play up for him. They wanted him to go right at Dante DiVincenzo and get to that right hand, and he played it to perfection. This guy is ready. We need to sign him for the long term. But there was a few seconds left. Julius Randle was coming down. He beat us on a game winner like that last year. I was scared to death he was going to do it again, but luckily not last night. And man, we finished with a 9-0 run to win the game and pull off that 1% miraculous chance. Oh man, I just cannot even describe it. What a win. This Phoenix Suns team is amazing, y'all. We may not have the most talent, but we have dogs like Colin Gillespie, Jordan Goodwin, and everyone else. It is just amazing. It was really a game of runs last night. We did go to 2-0 in the cup games. We're the only undefeated team in our group. We'll see if we can advance to the semifinals of the cup game. Brooks, before he fouled out last night, he had 22 points. Mark Williams had 19 and 8, one of his better scoring games lately. Mark's points have been down lately, but he's still been rebounding. He's still been playing great defense. His plus minus is really good. And, we need Mark Williams out there even when he's not scoring. And of course, Jordan Goodwin had 13 points and 6 rebounds last night. We won the assists last night, 25-18, with Anthony Edwards playing a lot of ISO ball. But all the other stats were very close. Rebounds, steals, blocks. You can see why it went down to the final possession, and we pulled it off. So we are 2-0 in the cup games. We'll have our final 2 cup games this week against the Kings and the Thunder. We'll talk about that in a little bit. A little bit of an up and down week. The rest of the week, of course, we started the week off with a loss to the Hawks. All 3 of these games were without Grayson and Jalen. We've been taking fewer 3-pointers. The Hawks loss was so frustrating. Being up 22 in the fourth, and you just cannot pull it off. The Hawks are one of the toughest young teams getting out in the fast break. They beat us in the fast breaks 19-5 in that game. And they just took it to us in that fourth quarter. We were front running a little bit, and we just looked shell shocked. We just could not get out of our own way. There's another game, the referees were terrible. I think it was the second worst refereed game this season, in my opinion, after that Clippers game earlier in the season, where they kept calling offensive fouls on Devin Booker. But there were a lot of positives in the game against the Hawks. Brooks, Book, and Colin led the way. Brooks had 34 points on 14 out of 25 shooting. He had 3 steals. Booker had 27, but 5 turnovers. That, along with the turnovers in the Wolves game, is really a flashback to last season with Devin Booker and KD turning the ball over a lot. We've got to cut those turnovers down. We're 27th in the league right now in most turnovers with 17 turnovers. We're the 4th worst, and we got to clean that up. But, another great game for Colin. He had 15 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals in 31 minutes. 3rd highest minutes on the team. It's great to see Colin playing a lot. Goody also had 14 points, 7 rebounds in 21 minutes. We out-rebounded the Hawks 54-44 and 16-9 on the offensive boards. But the problem was we let them shoot 52%. We let them get out on the fast breaks. And we just imploded down the stretch. We let Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker all score 25-plus points. So we did blow that one, but we still went 2-1 on the week. Of course, the other win was against Portland. It was a great 17-point victory, led pretty much the whole way. Got a lot of guys some garbage minutes. It was a late start, but it was only an 8 p.m. start here in California. That's another reason California is the greatest place to be. Y'all in Arizona cannot keep time. You guys got to get on the daylight savings time. But it was a great game against Portland. We had 6 guys in double figures, really great balance. No one took more than 13 shots. The leading scorer was tied between Devin Booker and Colin Gillespie at 19. Just great balance. Royce actually led the team in minutes at 31 minutes in that game. We only had to play Book 29 minutes, so that's great to see. This was the game that Ryan Dunn had 5 steals. We had 19 steals as a team. It was the most steals for an NBA team this season. We had not had that many steals since 2002. This was also the game that our new signing, Jamare Bouye, got in the game. He made a 3-pointer, he got an assist, and he had a great block. So congrats, Jamare Bouye. Great debut. We did let Shaden Sharp get 29 points. They really didn't have much else going. They did have Young Hansen get in and score 9 points. That was great to see the Chinese big fella get in there and score some points. Give the Portland fans something to see, but great victory. Another game, we out rebounded them 59-54, had the 19 steals. And so you really can see that we were hustling and wanting it more. So great week. We went 2-1 this week. But let's see who had this week's Thunderous Dunk.
Everything difficult. No layups.
Williams outside, lost it. Ryan Dunn scoops it up. And Ryan hammers it home. Boy, he did.
It was great to see Ryan finish a dunk. He had a lot of dunks that he missed this week. You can see there he didn't have anyone he was trying to dunk over and get a poster. So that probably helped. Last night he tried to go at Gobert and he fell really hard on his tailbone. And I haven't heard anything so far that he's injured or anything. He's probably just a little bit sore. But, I love seeing Ryan go for those posters, but he needs to be careful too. We need him. But, another great thing to see this week was the attitude of Jalen Green, even though he's, not in the games right now. They interviewed him during one of the games. He's so positive. He's talking up all his teammates. He's, crashing all the post-game interviews. The guy's always got a smile on his face. He's constantly talking about how much he loves it here in Phoenix, how much he loves the fans. And this is just such a locked-in team. But I can't wait to see Jalen get back out on the court. It really is amazing to see how he's doing off the court as well. And let's start another segment here on the Thunderous Dunks podcast. Let's do the Suns Twitter shout out of the week. And so this week, we've got a Twitter post by @ehoops2. Great follow on Twitter. And he says, Jordan Ott, the best Suns coach since D'Antoni, not even close. And ehoops2, I couldn't agree more. Monty Williams had a couple good years here, but it's kind of been a desert here lately for coaches. And, coming off Budenholzer, Jordan Ott is such a refreshing change. He is so locked in. He sets the tone for the rest of the team. He's the first one in the gym, the last one to leave. He calls the timeouts at all the right moments. He has great rotations. We've been questioning a lot of his rotations decisions. Playing Oso here and there, starting different guys, pulling Ryan Dunn out of the starting lineup. But you can see he's learning with every game. He's making all the right decisions, getting guys like Colin more minutes, getting Jordan Goodwin, 20-plus minutes a game lately. And, it's going to be tough to keep up the rotations when Jalen and Grayson are both back. But I trust Jordan to pull all the right moves. He called Colin Gillespie for the game winner last night. And I feel complete trust in Jordan Ott. I can't imagine having another coach right now. It's amazing that this is his first year in the league. But I think we got a good one in Jordan Ott. So the next segment we're going to do, as always, we got to do our stock up and stock down. We have a couple of stonks this week. The first two stock ups are really obvious. The first one has got to be this guy who also made one of my favorite plays ever right here.
Except the players in the white uniform. What a heck of a play by Colin Gillespie.
Colin Gillespie with the save, going out of bounds, just diving on the floor, even though you're up substantially at that point. And I think, the ball went right to Jordan Goodwin and he laid it in. But just that hustle, it's just amazing. And Colin is doing that every night, all night long. It will be shocking if he does not win the Dan Marley Hustle Award Player of the Year. But of course, the second stock up is easy as well. And let's see one of his highlights right here.
Suns turn him over. Goodwin driving to the basket. Sneaks it up in the end.
So that was the pick six layup by Jordan Goodwin last night, right before the game winner. Right before that, Colin Gillespie had a steal and got it to Jordan Goodwin for the three-pointer. So Jordan Goodwin was huge in that run last night, and he's been huge all week. Thank goodness we have Jordan Goodwin. We need to get him and Colin both on long-term contracts ASAP. So I try to do no more than 3 stock ups or stock downs. So, there's a lot of guys we could consider for that third stock up. A lot of guys had great weeks. But I'm going to give the third stock up to Jamaree Bouyea. He got his first minutes for the Suns. He looked impressive with a three-pointer and the assist and the block. So if we have to play Jamaree Bouyea, it looks like the guy's pretty competent. Of course, he'll be playing a lot for the Valley Suns as well. And I will be interested to see more of Jamaree Bouyea. Booyah! So who are the stock downs for this week? It was a mixed bag for some guys, but there weren't really a lot of guys who played badly. So it's a little bit hard to pick stock downs. I'm only going to say 2 guys, and it's just because they're not playing. The first guy, again, is going to be Nigel Hayes-Davis. Outside of a few garbage time minutes, he's not playing. But he's still being really great in the locker room, great for the team. He has the great quotes after the game saying things like, "Can we go to the Villain Jr convention?" So he's really great guy, but he's just not getting very minutes. So we got to say a stock down for Nigel Hayes-Davis, but still glad he's on the team. The second final stock down I'm going to go with is Man Kaman Malawatch. Just because he's not getting any minutes. He's the 4th center right now. We're playing 3 centers, and Man can't even hardly get in the game during garbage time. So that's a little disappointing, but the future is still bright for Kaman. He's still great in the locker room, and he definitely will be getting minutes sometime. So after the week, we will take stock of where we are. We are 10-6. We are the 6th seed. I predicted at the beginning of the year we would be the 6th seed and make the playoffs. I think I was the only person to predict that. If you saw anyone else predict us to be a top 6 seed, let me know because I would love to see it. But I have the receipts on that. I did predict that. We currently are 2nd in steals. We are 0.1 behind the Thunder. So hopefully we can pass them again when we play them this week. We've fallen to 10th in three-point attempts with Grayson being out lately, but we're still 4th in the percentage at 38.4. So if we can keep making threes and keep getting steals, we should keep winning a lot of games. So let's look at this week coming up. It's a 4-game week. We've got the home back-to-back Sunday and Monday versus the Spurs and then the Rockets. And then we've got the 2 cup games to finish that out, both on the road. Sacramento on Wednesday and OKC on Friday. So starting with the back-to-back, will Mark Williams play both? I doubt it. He has not played a back-to-back yet. I think they're probably going to continue that and rest him in one of these games. I really have no idea which. I go back and forth on which one I want him to play. We definitely have a much better chance when he plays. So I kind of selfishly want him to play versus the Rockets because I really want to beat KD. And, we've already beaten the Spurs this year. So I won't be too heartbroken if we lose that one. But the Spurs, will Wemby be more prepared? Will he come out and face the Suns' little guys and score 9 points again? We'll see. I don't think we're going to hold Wemby down like that again. But I trust Jordan Ott to have another master class of preparation against him. Fox is back now. He scored 24 in 4 straight. The Spurs are 11-4. So we'll see. The Spurs and the Rockets are the two teams right ahead of us. So Monday, that's going to be a great game. Finally facing KD for the first time since the trade. Everyone's going to be watching that. The Rockets are 10-4. They're only 3-2, or they're only 5-2 on the road, and the Spurs are only 3-2 on the road. So having both of these games at home, it might not be as hard as you think, but the Rockets are first in rebounding, they're third in points scored, and they're fifth in opponents' points. They've got KD leading the way. He has not missed a game. He's been playing 36 minutes, near tops on the team. He's taken the most shots, 17 a game, leading the team with 24.6 points. But he's only rebounding about 4.8 rebounds a game because they've got a lot of bigger players. They don't need that. But KD is doing what he do. Can the Suns hold him down? It's going to be great to see. I cannot wait to see Dylan Brooks and our other villains getting up on KD and see the game plan against him and see if we can hold him down and win that game. Of course, they have Şengün averaging 22.7 points, 10 rebounds, and 7.3 assists. And they've got Steven Adams averaging 9.4 rebounds in 22 minutes. So we've been winning the rebounding game in almost every game lately. Can we do it against the Rockets? That's going to be fascinating to see. Then we play Sacramento on Wednesday. We won the opener with a great comeback win. The Kings have now fallen to 3-13. They're next to last in the West. They're 25th in points. They're 28th in opponents' points, and they're 29th in rebounding. This is a must win. You cannot lose to the Sacramento Kings, especially with all the other hard games we've got coming up this week. Their leading scorer is only averaging 17.9 points. That's DeRozan. And then you've got Sabonis at 17.2. That must be the worst in the league. I've never heard of having a leading scorer at 17 points a game. That is crazy. We round out the week playing the Thunder, the best team in the league. They are 16-1. Their only loss was a comeback win by the Blazers. Could they threaten the Bulls' record of 72 wins? They might. Right now, they have the best rating in history. The net rating is 16.3, beating that Bulls team of 13.4. If they keep punking teams like that, they might win 75 games this season. Of course, they've got Shea averaging 31 points a game, but only 6.6 assists. I think the guy's a ball hog. Booker's beating him in assists, but he's shooting 53%. They've got Holmgren with 19 points and 7.8 rebounds. He's shooting 57.8%. They've got Hartenstein with 10.7 boards a game, shooting 70% from the field. They've got Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, and Shea all averaging around 41% from the arc. Can we beat them? I don't know. That's probably going to be a loss. If we beat them, I might have to start betting Suns finals odds. They are 16-1. So my prediction for the week, I think we're going to split the back-to-back. I think we're going to win whichever game that Mark Williams plays. I think we're going to beat the Kings, and I think we're going to lose to the Thunder. So I think we're going to go 2-2. But this is going to be one of our toughest weeks of the season, especially with Jalen out and Grayson still out for at least part of this week, maybe the whole week upcoming. We'll see. There has not been any update on him yet. But 2-2 in a tough week would be solid. It would keep us in the playoff hunt. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's see a great week. Let's see Colin and Goody keep it going. Let's go. Suns up.